am going to teach you today how to do cat feeding. The very first thing you're going to want to do when cat feeding is to check and see if there's any leftover food from the morning shift or from the previous evening. To do that, you're just going to look in the little fridge over here. As you can see, there's currently not much in here, but it is usually dated. So you know, if it's a few days old, maybe it's time to get rid of that. But if it was just from the night before or the morning before, you can pull that out and use that to start with. If you're starting fresh, like we are today, you're going to need some food. The cans are all over here. You will see there's quite a full couple shelves here. This sort of darker gray shelf, you can use any food on here, basically. You will notice that a lot of times they have in permanent marker their expiration date. So just always check that and make sure you're not feeding any expired food. But if it's not expired, you can use any of these cans up here. Personally, when I'm cat feeding, I like to sort of go with a theme, so I'll do maybe all seafood or all poultry. It's not a requirement, but that's how I like to do it. So the amount of cans you're going to need is going to depend on the population of cats we have at the time. In the summertime, it's probably pretty common to use somewhere between 10 and 15 cans, depending on the size. In the wintertime, you're probably not going to need quite as many. But my tip is to start with fewer cans because you can always add more later. It's better to have to come add later than have a ton left over. Now you will notice there's another shelf of food over here. You can pretty much ignore this shelf. This is the prescription food. So this is the food that we're feeding to those cats that have the food bowl sticker on their cage card. If you accidentally feed one of these cans to the cats, it will not hurt them, but it's expensive and we like to save it for the cats that really need it. So stick with the dark gray shelf. Okay, so I am going to start with some feeding. So I'm going to go with some of this seafood stuff. So I'm going to just grab 2 cans. The other things you're going to need to feed are a bowl, a spoon or fork, and then a mashing utensil. You can find those over on this shelf typically. So there's a bowl or a couple bowls up here. I'm just going to need a smaller one today. Usually in this bin you can find the potato masher, or in this case cat food masher, and then a spoon. If you don't find these items up here, they may be laying out to dry up here. They're clean if they're up here, so you may use them. If you still have trouble finding them, they may be in the sanitizer here, which we'll talk about later. All right, I have my materials, so now I'm going to start making some cat food. All you do, if you've never opened a can like this before, is you get the pop top, pull it towards you, and then pull it away from you. Be careful, sometimes some of the food will spit out, so I like to keep it a little bit away from me. And I'm going to dump the can into the bowl. You can always use the spoon to get it all out. And then we like to recycle our cans, so I'm going to actually put that up there for now, and later I will clean it out to recycle. All right, can number 2. All right, the next step is that we like to put a little bit of water in here. Cats just don't tend to drink a lot of water. They love to live their lives on the verge of dehydration. So we add a little bit of water into their food to make sure they're getting some water in their diet. Now, I usually just eyeball the amount of water. You're going to basically want something that's the texture of like oatmeal. What you can do, I personally will just put the bowl under the sink and add just a little bit of water. If you feel better, what you could do is take one of the cans that you just emptied, maybe put a little bit of water in there and add that in. All right, now I have some water, I have my food, and this is the part that grosses some folks out, but we're gonna mash it all together. So again, we're going for an oatmeal-like consistency. Hopefully that doesn't ruin oatmeal for anyone. Okay, there we go. So this is good. I'm going to put that in the sink. And now I have my food. And now it's time to start feeding some cats. Basically, when you do this shift, you're going to feed every cat in the shelter except for the ones that have that food bowl sticker. I personally like to start up front and make my way back, but you can start where you want as long as you remember to get all of the cats. Now to feed cats, I have this little cart. If any of you have cut paper plates before, they're in here. That's what we're going to use these for. Basically, you're going to take about a spoonful, about that much, and you're going to put it on the plate like that. Now, to feed the cats, I actually don't need to open any kennel doors. All I need to do is fold this and stick it between the doors. So you can come with me. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look, no food bowl sticker, so this cat can have food. And he looks like he would like it. I'm gonna fold the plate in half, and I'm gonna just stick it through the doors and it will unfold itself. There we go. And you have a happy cat. And then I'm just gonna continue doing that for all of the cats, again, unless they have a food bowl sticker. Okay, so now that we're all done feeding all of the cats, we're going to go put this food away, but just a note, you will notice that I left this cart out in the hall and didn't take it into the rooms. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it's kind of loud, it takes up a lot of space, and we don't want to scare any of the cats by taking it into the room. So we actually prepare the food out here and then just take it in to the cats in the room. But now we're going to take this back to the room and I will show you what to do if you have extra food when you are done with your feeding. So again, your goal is to not make so much that you have a ton of overflow, but sometimes you're going to have some leftover. So what you're going to do if that happens is you're going to try to find a smaller dish that it will fit in. So I think this should do the trick. I'm going to empty the food in here. There we go. Put that in there. And now what I'm going to do is get one of these storage bags. They're usually found up here. And a permanent marker that can be usually found here. And on this, I am going to write, today is, I'm going to write today's date. So today is February 2nd. And then I'm going to write AM because this was the morning feeding. So I'm going to take this this bag now, and I'm going to put the dish in the bag. And now, back where we started, I'm going to put this into the fridge. And now whoever does the afternoon feeding can check in there first, and they can use up the food that I didn't finish this morning. Okay, so part of this shift is actually also kitchen cleanup. So we need to clean up after ourselves, basically, after we've done all the cat feeding. Staff will love you if you do all of the dishes in the sink. If you don't have the time for that for whatever reason, you need to at least clean up the dishes that you used. So that's going to be the bowl, the potato masher, and rinsing out any cans. So the way our sink works here is that this is the on-off switch, and then this is hot, and this is cold. So right now the cold is on, hot is on. So I'm just going to do this. Now basically, a pump of soap over here. Now, we are going to wash these dishes now, and there's a couple tools. There's a sponge, there is a sort of longer brush. But basically we want to clean this as if we're going to use it again, and we want a nice clean bowl. So I now have a clean bowl, but to make sure that we're extra germ-free here, what we're gonna do now is put this in this machine here. Now this looks like a dishwasher. It is not a dishwasher. It is a sanitizer. So basically what it does is puts really hot water on the dishes to kill any germs that might be lingering after a wash. So you're just gonna open it and then you can stack stuff on the shelf. Now obviously I will add the other dishes that I do, and then I will put them in here. Then what you do is press this green button. This is going to run for about 5 to 7 minutes. And then when it's done, we set things up here to air dry. Again, the other thing you're going to want to do is clean out any cans you use, because we do like to recycle them. So again, I'm just going to put the water on. I'm going to make sure. Now do be careful because these do sometimes have some little sharp edges, so it's easy to get just like a little paper cut. So I'm going to rinse it out so that it's relatively clean, and then there's a bin down here. It's a sort of grayish brown, and you're going to put that in there. And that's it. That is kitchen cleanup.